Welcome to this lesson on finding the area of composite figures. So first we need to talk about what is a composite figure. So a composite figure is a figure that is composed of two or more figures. So when you take a look at this shape right here, you can break it down into two different rectangles. So it's considered a composite figure. Okay, so here's your definition and two examples. Right, so now we want to know what's the area of the composite figure. Well, we know that when we're looking for area, we're looking for length times width. Well, in this case, length times width isn't going to work because of the fact that we have too much going on. We have all of this space in here that we need to work with. So it's not that we can just do length times width because of the fact that it isn't a rectangle. Right, so what we do is we take a look at the figure and determine what shapes or what basic figures can we break it into. So first off, we can break this into two different shapes and give them, an A and a B or two different names so that way you have all of your information put together correctly. So when you're doing this and you find that you split it right here and you have rectangle A and rectangle B, now you need to figure out what your dimensions are. Well, in this case, you know that from here to here is 8. But your problem is you need from here to here, and then you also need here to here. And you can't just assume that it's cut in half. You actually have to use other information to help you out. So this extended line right here, this purple line, tells you that this here matches up with this corner here because of where the line is. So you have to take what you know about rectangles and remember that the opposite sides on rectangles are congruent. So for that reason, we know that this right here is 4. Well, if this is 4 right here, then we know that this 4 plus whatever this is has to give us 8. So we can take that 8, subtract the 4 that's already used here, and we get 4. So we know that the length there is going to be 4. Okay, so to find the area of rectangle A, we're going to take our two dimensions, and we're going to take 4 and multiply it by 6 because that's going to give us the area of rectangle A. And then we're also going to take the dimensions of rectangle B, which are 4 and 4, and multiply them. And you get 16. And up on the top, you get 24. Then what you do is you take your two areas. So the area of A was 24, the area of B was 16. And you add them together because that's what you're doing with your figures. You added them together and you get 40. Okay, so then now we're going to take a look at what happens if you divide it differently. So if you're looking at this and saying, well, I could have split it here, is this going to change my answer? You have to use what you know again to help you find your missing pieces. In this case, you don't know that side length, but you know from here to here has to be 6. So you know that whatever this is and this have to give you a total of 6. Again, if you look at the opposite side, so on B, you have from here to here, which is 4, which tells you here to here has to be 4. So I know that whatever goes here, when I add it to 4, has to give me 6. So if I take that total of 6 and I subtract 4, that tells me that the side length here has to be 2. So now I know that for rectangle A, I have 4 by 2, which gives me 8. And then for rectangle B, I have 4 by 8, which gives me 32. I I add my pieces together, so I have 8. Oops. 8 plus 32, which gives me 40, which is exactly what I got if you remember previously. So the area should stay the same, and if it doesn't, something was done incorrectly because your shape still covers the same amount of space regardless of how you find your answer. All right, so we have 2 more problems that we're going to do. You can either pause and try them both on your own and come back and check. You can work through one with me, try the other, or work through both with me. However you want to do it is fine. Just make sure that you're splitting everything and showing your work and coming back to check those answers. Right, in this case, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take and split my rectangle here because I know that these are the 2 different shapes that I can make. So I'm going to give this one A and make this one B. So now I know A is 5 by 3. I don't have to do any figuring with that. And I get 15. But now I'm missing this spot right here for B. But I know all of this from here to here has to give me 6. And I know that opposite of the 3, this is going to be 3. So I know that 3 plus whatever this is has to give me 6. So I do 6 minus 3, and that gives me 3. So here I know that I have another rectangle that is 2 by 3, which gives me 6. I add my total area, and I get 21. Okay, again, if you want to try the next one on your own, if you split it differently, that's fine. Okay, you can always ask me later, but as long as you got 21 as your answer, you're fine. Here, I'm actually going to split it this way. So now, here's rectangle A and rectangle B. And so I know for rectangle A, I have 4 by 2, because this 4 goes from here to here. So that's not going to help me. But here, I know that this is 2, and this whole thing is 4. So I know rectangle A is 8 square units. Then now, here I have for B, I have 5, but I'm looking for this piece here. But the 4 is going to help me because I know 4 minus, if I look across, I remember that this was 2. So 4 minus 2 that I've already used gives me 2, so this has to be 2. So my dimensions are 5 by 2, which gives me 10. And then I'm going to add my areas together. In A, I have 8. B, I have 10. So my area is 18 square units. Again, you could have split it this way. If you split it this way, you would have had dimensions of 4 by 4. And then you would have had 1 by 2, which would have still given you 18. Okay, so here you have 2 figures that I want you to try on your own. You are going to split them apart. Remember, and I am going to give you a hint, that you can use trapezoids. You do know how to use trapezoids, so don't hesitate to use those since you do know your area of a trapezoid, and that will help you with one of these 2 problems. As always, if you have any questions, please be sure to write them down or email me so we can go over them in class.